Hello. Hello, book nerds. Make sure that's not okay. Yeah. Just want to make sure I don't hear myself talk because I will end the stream so fast. Hey. Hey, Bree. Welcome. Ready to talk about this book. I'm in like such a good reading space this year. Let me tell you, I am, according to my arbitrary reading goal that really doesn't matter, I'm ahead by one book. I read the book in 3 days easy. It's actually, honestly, it read really fast. I'm not going to lie. So when you said you were going to, like read it real quick, I'm like, easy. I knew you would have an easy time of it. Hi, Kelly. Hi, welcome. Happy Friday indeed. QB book club time. I'm excited. Hey, Des. Oh, it's interesting to see now that I can actually have like YouTube and my streaming stuff on here. Interesting to see how much faster the comments come on this side. Welcome. Hopefully you guys are ready to talk about Indian Burial Ground, which might have been a Des suggestion. Did I remember that incorrectly? Not that it matters who suggests what, but I just feel like for some reason I associate this book with you, Des. Either you've talked about it before or you did suggest it, and I can't remember. Like in my brain, I'm like, Des told me about this book, High Tech Maven. I want to go that far, but kinda. Oof. Okay. Well, for anybody lurking, that number is higher than the people chatting, which is fine. But if anyone's like lurking or just wanting, like maybe you're just seeing what Creepy Book Club is, which is totally fine. You're more than welcome to chat with us, even if you haven't read the book or not. That didn't make any sense. If you have read the book or not, you're more than welcome to chat. Don't feel like you can't talk with us because you haven't read it. But this is a very like free flowing chat. Sometimes it's kind of structured. Sometimes we have like a lot of notes and it's, we can kind of go through like bullet points. Other times we kind of just let the conversation flow. We are going to spoil everything though. Like, we're going to talk about the entire book. So let that just be your warning. If you intended on reading this and you don't want it spoiled, maybe just come back and rewatch this after you've read it. But as long as you're chill with that, feel free to hang out. And for everyone hanging out here, before I post them on my social media, you guys are getting the exclusive just early. You guys get to know early what we're going to be reading for the rest of the year and in what months, our little schedule. Because you guys are what matters anyway when it comes to that, because we're the ones reading the damn books. So before I post about it on like my social media and stuff like that. But that'll be at the end of the stream. So so we don't derail the conversation. We'll go about with our normal Creepy Book Club business. If you lurk, the Dakota vampire will get you. If you lurk. I don't know where Marielle is. Did she read this? I don't know if I feel like she wasn't talking about it a lot. So I don't know if she DNF'd it or. And that's also fine too, to anyone lurking. If you try the book and it's not your vibe, there's too many books in the world to read to justify somehow forcing yourself to read something you don't like. So, She didn't mark it at all on Storygraph. Maybe she just couldn't get around to it or something. That's fine. But yeah, and that's why we post. That's why we figure out our schedule like in advance. So that way, it's like if you are too busy one month or something, you can just maybe just read ahead for the next month. Do whatever you got to do. I try to make it super easy and super chill because reading is supposed to be fun and not feel like a chore. So that's the last thing I want, is for it to feel like a chore or anything. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe Marielle, maybe she's busy. Maybe she'll pop in and give us her opinion on anything. I don't know. I feel like she's very vocal even when she DNFs, so I'm not sure. Which is fine. We should support DNFing. So what are your guys' overall thoughts? I say overall, but what were your like? What's your kind of like? What was your kind of your just quick impression of this? Is normally how we started off, I guess. Is kind of like what's like the general vibe like, or just like probably doing something cooler than hanging. I don't know why I'm just reading the chat and not. This is not Twitch, Vicky. It's not already on the screen. I can't imagine what anybody could be doing that is cooler than this. So I can't even fathom it. Really enjoyed the book. I think Noemi's story. Ooh, I agree with you. Yeah, we can get into it with Noemi, but yeah, I think Noemi's story could have been deeper as well. But Louis' story more than made up for it. I was riveted to his journey. Yeah. It was a super interesting story. I kind of liked, to be honest, like after I finished it, I went back and I read, just like the little like synopsis that's, in the book or whatever. I feel like when I first read the description of it, I guess, I don't know if maybe I just like didn't really absorb what the book was about or what the book was going to be about. Because I felt like I'm not gonna. And this isn't a negative. I'm not saying this didn't prepare me for what the book was about, but I guess I just thought the summary was a bit more vague, and so when I was reading it, like I truly felt like I was in the story, because I was like, "Ooh, what's gonna happen next?" and what stuff like that. When I went back and read it, I'm like, oh no, it does like tell you what the book's about. I don't know why. I guess I just like my brain did not absorb what it was about, but it kind of worked out in the book's favor, I think. I preferred Sisters of the Lost Nation more, but this was still quite impactful. Because Sisters of the Lost Nation was Nick Medina's debut novel, yes? Question mark, maybe? So this would only be a second book? That's pretty cool. It's pretty impressive, I gotta say. As somebody who does not write any books. They're all impressive, but that's pretty impressive. Got to say. Oh, hold on. My back itches. Well, that's good to know that was good too. Okay, but we can get into, as per usual, I kind of have Marielle. We were all wondering where you were. Everyone's so much more excited to see Marielle. Okay, let's see how it is. Oh, well, okay, we kind of started talking about the book just a teensy bit, but I didn't even like summarize it for anybody lurking. I don't know if anybody really is lurking anymore. I think my intro scared off a bunch of people. It's fine. But yeah, we were waiting for you. Did you read this? That's what I do have to say. We did devote a little bit of time to talking about whether you read this or not. I did not accuse. I did not accuse of DNFing. I just made a guess because I hadn't seen Marielle really talk about the book at all anywhere. I think Marielle proudly DNF, so I don't even think I could accuse her of it even if I wanted to. It wouldn't stick. I mean, this is actually my book club now. Got it. She's taken over. Born on the same day, and you think you could be me, Marielle? I'm older. Also hope Tana shows up. Oh, that's right. Tana's not here either. Well, dang. Yeah, I want to know everyone's thoughts. That was my guess. I was like, I don't even know if she's, because when you DNF it, you're very proud and vocal about it, which is good. You should be. So that was also part of the discussion. Was like, I feel like I don't remember her saying she DNF'd it, so I don't even know if she read it. We know you so well. That's fair. That's fine. I'm never trying to shame you. You just accuse me of shaming you. I say it once, I say it a million times. Life's too short to read books you don't like. DNF all you want. Still waiting for my DNF Queen merch. I'm maybe got something in the works. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. I maybe got a little something going on. Later this year though. Obviously, I mean Brian does. Okay, fine. Okay, other fiction book I'm reading right now is a slog, and I probably should DNF, but it's less than. Yeah, see, don't. If you're not enjoying it, DNF it. Or just come back to it or something. Maybe it's just not the right time. You never know. Sometimes I feel that way with movies too. It's just like I'm like not in the right headspace to watch it at that moment. And there's plenty of movies I've watched like not in the right headspace and I didn't like it. And then I went back and watched it and I liked it a lot better the second time. Deep as the sky, red as the sea. Deep as the sky, red as that sounds familiar. Oh, that's right. Yep. Okay. I know of that book. I know of that book. I think it was a Discover pick for us a while ago. No, when it first came out, possibly. No, Brie feels pressure to go on her reading. This is not a safe space at DNF. Yes, it is. I'm gonna fight you on this. It's just heavy on Chinese pirate politics. Not so much action. It's kind of a bummer. Good thing we didn't get it. Yeah, I know. Marielle, we started talking about the book and then Marielle popped in and just derailed everything. No, we're on the right track. We have to talk about the book a little bit, Marielle. Just because you didn't read it. It was just the timing of everything. Yeah, there you see it, Marielle. Bree's right. That's the price of if you want to be in charge, everything's your fault. If this is your book club, if this is your channel, it's all your fault. With great power becomes no. With great power comes great responsibility. That's the quote. Tana, hey, we stalled enough. Okay, so we've effectively stalled enough. We stalled for Marielle to get here, and we stalled some more, and now Tana's here. All right. That's so that's so funny. Woohoo! All right, now we can talk about the book. Attack on Marielle time. That's the merch. That's the merch, not DNF Queen. I wonder, like, I don't think I have enough. I don't think I have enough skill to make something that's like Attack on Titan, but like make it a spoof of Attack on Marielle without getting like in trouble. That's what I mean. Like I don't have enough skill. Yeah. To make that merch without getting in legal trouble. If I ever do figure out how to make that merch, Marielle, you're getting it for free. No, I mean like making it a spoof on Attack on Titan. I don't think I hope you wouldn't sue me for Do you copyright curly hair? I meant the Attack on Titan part for the copyright. No, that would be some book club drama. It wouldn't even be drama though. Like anytime I talk about drama, it's just like fake drama. That's how we would like get people to join Creepy Book Club. This just turns into a strategy meeting. Like we drum up some fake drama and then everyone's to come for the tea. But in reality, it's all just a ploy to sell merch. And in reality, yeah, if I ever were to make a merch like that, Marielle, you'd be getting it for free. That's for sure. Even if it's just bookmarks or something, you're getting it. Just hear you talk about the book and then find out what the fuck I'm reading for the rest of the year. All right. That's talking like the person in power. Thank you, Marielle. All right, let's talk about the book. Let's talk about Indian Burial Ground. The drama, Vicky makes money off of it. That's a bonus. That used to be a thing back in the day, all the YouTube drama. I really should have capitalized on that. Late to the game, but we'll capitalize on drama at some point. Okay. Tana, what did you think about the book? Just like your first like initial like it, didn't like it. Bree and Des already kind of chimed in with theirs earlier, but with a DNF Queen crown comes great responsibility. Yeah. Honestly, it kind of does if you get a crown for it. It does come great responsibility and pressure. All right, but what do we feel? What did we feel about this, Tana? We want to know. Wasn't a big fan. Structure was a big problem for you. Okay. I wouldn't even say it was like back and forth POVs. It was a lot heavier on Louis' POV. A lot heavier. So it's kind of broken up into two storylines. There's like the past with Louis, and I tried to list kind of like as many of the major characters in Louis' timeline. There's a lot more going on in Louis' timeline. And then there's Noemi's in the present day, but that seemed almost like an afterthought sometimes. I don't know. Bree kind of mentioned that she would have liked Noemi's to go deeper, but wish they would have stayed purely with Louis. Yeah, I think until the very, very end of the book, like when everything was wrapped up, I was struggling to figure out like what Louis's timeline, like the past, like what was that going to have anything to do with the present? That was a bit of a struggle for me, I have to say. A couple times I was confused as to which timeline we were in for a bit. Yeah. It just yeah, it felt like just until the very end, it didn't really like drive home like, oh, that was like kind of like the whole point of going back to this thing that happened in the past. And okay, I get it. Because even when I like look at it now, like what happened with Roddy in Noemi's timeline, I kind of feel like still didn't really match at all with what was going on. Like, I guess maybe I was taking it too literally though too. When I was reading the book, like I was expecting like the same things to start happening, like the bodies were going to sit up and talk and it like a whole scare thing going on. And that really didn't happen with Noemi's timeline at all, but that could have been me. I could have just been taking that like way too literally. Agree that her part felt like an afterthought. We'd get into it and then was taken right back. I still don't understand how what happened to Roddy happened. Yeah, it was. I guess at least when it comes to what happened with Roddy, I guess kind of like the moral of that is like in the end it didn't matter. Not that it didn't matter, but it's like Noemi learning what actually happened wouldn't solve her problems, because it seemed like really at the end it was like about her coming into her own, because she's like very like you kind of realize like as her storyline goes on, like how much her self-worth is dependent on Roddy. And so she's kind of like floundering when he dies because she's like, he was my rock, for lack of a better term, you know what I mean? And she viewed him as like the font of her like self-esteem and all the good things that was happening in her life. So I guess maybe like we didn't learn what happened because learning what happened wouldn't help Noemi realize her power in and of herself. I don't know. I'm waiting for Des to drop like some sage interpretation of this. No pressure. Agree about Noemi. It was developed well, and I'm not sure about her role in the narrative. Yeah, I just felt like they were two separate stories. And at first they hinted at the woman's Jeep looked like Noemi's, meaning he was trying to jump in front of her. But then they just dropped that idea. Yeah, that's true. I guess it's just one of those things like, and I guess it's like true to real life too, because sometimes unfortunately you don't know. Like when it comes to death of a loved one or something like that, sometimes you just don't know. And you might not ever know. But it's like, I guess trying to find like, like the moral of the story, the the thing we're supposed to learn. I don't know if this is what we're supposed to learn, but like, and it just brings back to that question, like, is knowing, is that going to, that's not going to solve your grief necessarily if you know what happens. It could just add to it. It could, it could make things worse. So it's like just knowing doesn't necessarily fix anything. I think maybe it doesn't matter what really happened because sometimes, yeah, exactly. Oh, well, sorry, Des. Yeah, you said it before me. Yep. Yep. Sometimes we can just never know. I think it maybe would have been a little bit better if we maybe just had more of Noemi's timeline. Here, so switch the banners because we really just started talking about Noemi. And her trying to figure out was also hurting Roddy's family as well. Like we don't ever see her interact with his parents, but she interacts with his sister, Sarah. And her trying to figure things out and ask questions and things like that is really just hurting her more also. So it's just one of those things, like, I don't want to say it's not important because, everybody's life is important like that, but you know what I mean? It's like, it at least wasn't important in that time to to do that. And that realization that she has at the end too, that maybe all the good qualities she saw in Roddy, she was just focusing on those to prop herself up, and maybe kind of viewing him and their relationship through rose-colored glasses. Not saying it was bad, but maybe it wasn't like as perfect and all sunshine and rainbows as she was making it out to be, and maybe she missed important things, important signs, because she wasn't she was so focused on how he made her life better and kind of putting him on a pedestal, I guess. The way she interacted with Sarah until the end made me so uncomfortable. Girl, I know you're. Yeah. It was like a tough situation because clearly they established that they had been in a relationship for a while. So it's like every family is different, but like you would think she would kind of be maybe a little bit more involved with the family, but I guess she was never that close with them. Greeting Ghost Star state of mind. Yeah. She was just thinking about herself, really. The way she was interacting with Sarah. And that I feel like she felt like she needed somebody, I think, but it just came off as like selfish. Almost like she was the only one who was grieving or sad. And so it was, yeah, not cool. Not cool of her necessarily, because there's other people grieving as well. Yeah. But yeah, I would love to hear anybody's interpretation of like how Noemi's storyline, like what from Louis's past are we supposed to be taking into Noemi's storyline? Because Louis he's kind of involved with it. Like he shows up right when this thing happens, and there's the whole thing with is it a coyote? Can't remember if it was a coyote or not, but there was like a thing with that. But I really struggled with like, but I could just be taking it way too literally. Or like, there was no vampire, nobody was sitting up. As far as we know, Roddy didn't kill anybody. Yeah, and she needed to be Roddy's only girl, 1,000%. Vicky Noemi's pattern seems to have been hinging her happiness on her romantic partners. Yeah. Which is like a good lesson to learn in and of itself in the book. I don't know. Oh, okay. Perhaps because Noemi was possessed by the spirit for like a second when she was little, it left something in her to make her as self-loathing as she was. And she needed to know the story to start to fix it. I feel like that's a great that's wow. I think that is I think that's a super correct interpretation. Dang, I didn't even think about that. I guess it's because it's just like it was so focused on Louis, and it's like until the second when you reminded me, I forgot that she was even possessed by the spirit for a little bit. I mean, Louis is so focused on protecting her. I remember that piece, obviously, but yeah, okay. Well, shit. You pulled it out of my ass, but hey, it makes sense. I mean, it was better than what I had, which was goose egg. I definitely was taking it too literally, I think. I was thinking it was going to be like that same thing, that bad thing has come back, or they've how do they say it when they're discussing it in Louis' timeline? Like the balance is like tipped when you have too much of the bad and not enough of the good. That's when the vampire kind of, as it were, comes and it starts taking people's when the balance is off. But it really always is. No, we have to consider generational. I feel like that's the merch. That's the merch for book club, is like, I don't know what the phrase would have to be, but it's like, but what about the generational trauma? That's the merch idea right there. I just don't know if there was, maybe in Louis' timeline, maybe a bit more in Louis' timeline, I think. Because I feel like in the present day, I just felt like there wasn't enough of it to really kind of see the facts. It's a book about generational trauma. It always comes back to generational trauma, but I mean, yeah. Let me see. Oh, okay. When I wrote it out, I tried to change the verbiage of it, but but yeah, I feel like it was a lot more on Louis' side, though, the generational trauma, though, especially from, I mean, like Louis, God, like his storyline had so much going on, and I felt so bad for him, like growing up like that, like with his mother being alcoholic and not being present, like, at all. And then towards the end, like truly just like being a detriment to herself, and then being a danger to other people around her as well. And we kind of see how that affects him in the present day. But then there's also like all these expectations people have of him because he's like the responsible one. How his neighbor starts paying him to watch Johnny. Is it Johnny? The little kid. Thank you, Johnny. Yeah. And like, it's just like, I just feel like the expectations everybody has of him just like keeps compounding on him throughout his story until the end. And it leads to some horrible things happening, like what happens with Johnny, which was, I had to take a break after that part. I had to take a break. And not to say it was Louis' fault, but it's like he definitely was like being stretched in so many different directions that it left a door open for the thing, this bad energy, the vampire, or whatever we want to call it, to enter Johnny and for that thing to happen. Louis had my heart. I just feel everything he went through. I feel like it was very much, it was like that same energy, like that TikTok meme of being like the eldest daughter. I feel like that was Johnny. Like he just had to do fucking everything. Oh God. Are we going to talk about this on the internet? Marielle, do you want to know the worst thing that happens in this book? Do you want to know the saddest part of this book? I'm scared. You should be. I feel like Bree's asking with the assumption like Vicky is gonna tell her what happens. I don't want to relive it either. I guess to give you some context, Johnny punishment for DNFing, yeah. So for context, Louis is like a teenager when this is happening. And Noemi is his niece. So in his timeline, Noemi is just like, what is she like? She's like 3 or 4 or something like that. Um, and Johnny watches her a lot while his sister Lula is like at work and things like that. So he's often watching her. And then there's a neighbor on his reservation that kind of, I don't want to say like strong arms him into watching another toddler, but that's kind of what she does. She tries to sell it like, oh, it'll be good for Johnny and Noemi to hang out because they're the same age, blah, 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 blah. But really, I don't have enough energy for this kid, so I'm going to give him to a teenager to watch during the day. And not Johnny. I keep saying Johnny instead of Louis. Louis is watching Johnny and Noemi. His friend is over at the time, JL, which we haven't even gotten into because JL's the fucking worst character. But we'll get into him in a second. And Johnny is like, not Johnny, Louis, sorry, is trying to do chores and trying to do all these things while also watching the kids. And so he's like burning trash out like in his backyard. Like he's got like a fire pit where he's burning kind of like the household, like the paper trash and stuff like that. And the like spirit, this bad energy, whatever we want to call it, enters into Johnny for a little bit. And it's like this horrific scene where he kind of like crawls into the fire pit. And that's like as much detail as I want to go into on the internet. But yeah, it's like a horrific scene where a toddler dies in the book via fire pit. And it appears like he like kind of crawls in voluntarily because this thing is kind of like possessed him. Tana's like, I'm giving you the full fucking picture. He like crab walks in like backwards and he's like smiling the whole time because this thing is like possessed him. And it's horrific. It's horrific. Yep. And I had to take a break after reading that. I was like, and I'm done for the day. I'm not going to read any more of this. And I had to come back to it because I was like, wow. And then everybody with the JL slander. Yeah, JL's a piece of shit. Me screaming, what the fuck, out loud to no one in my bedroom. Yeah, like my jaw was on the floor. On the floor. And it just made me feel even more bad for Louis because honestly, JL was there, didn't fucking stop anything. Ugh, that kid. So that's like the worst thing that happens in the book. The worst character in the book is Louis's friend, JL. By the end of the book, I was so tired of hearing about him. I was like, I don't want to hear any more about this. Excuse me. But yeah, there's a lot of death in this book, and there's like a whole thing with this spirit like possessing them and like almost like making it appear as though they've reanimated for a second. So it's like really adding to the trauma of somebody dying in a kind of like crazy or violent way, and then like appearing to kind of come back to life for a split second. Um, it's quite scary. Yep. Yeah, it gets messy. Us describing it to Marielle. Yeah. So Rosie is Johnny's mother, and obviously is like crazy stricken with grief after this happens. Um, and then JL, a teenager, sleeps with her on the day her son dies. Yeah, Rosie also needs to go to therapy. Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. That's the if generational trauma is the theme of like every book we read, so is all the characters going to therapy. America's like I feel like if you had read this, you probably would have DNF'd at that point. Although that's quite a ways into the book by the time this happened. So I don't know. But yeah. Yeah. So that's that part. So fucking crazy. So crazy. And then there's the whole thing with Ern. We didn't even talk about Ern. Or haven't talked about Ern yet. I know we kind of started a little late. I mean, I kind of added him to kind of probably should have given him his own thing, but we didn't even talk about Ern yet. What are our feelings about Ern? The generational trauma is the friends who made up. That's the merch. Yeah. That's just trauma at that point. I don't even think that's generational trauma. That's just trauma. But what about Ern? What do we feel about Ern? Yeah, I saw your comment about Ern just kind of like delivering all the like exposition and stuff. There's all that. No, I can pull it up. You're good. The fat phobia. Yep. Yeah. So I guess to catch Marielle up again as well. And on the last chapter, you have a long comment. Yeah, I see it. So throughout this story, Marielle, Johnny is like trying to just deal with everything, trying to figure out what's going on his reservation. He feels like it may be related to like this legend, the Dakota vampire. And people are dying, people are going missing, and one of the people that goes missing is Ern's mother, and Ern is very overweight to the point that he does not leave his house, and he just communicates like he's always like sat on the couch, and he communicates just kind of like through his window to people. And he lives near Louis, so Louis is like stops by and brings him like food and stuff like that because nobody is taking care of him now that his mother is missing. And he's the one that kind of helps him along with like this whole idea of like this bad spirit that's possessing people and things like that. Long story short, the entire book short, it turns out like or at least what Louis concludes is like the source of all of this happening is somebody doing a bad thing for no reason, and the bad thing for no reason that somebody has done his urn has killed his mother. So she's not actually missing. Um, and not only has he killed her, and I don't even want to say this out loud either, but he basically it's said that he crushes her with his immense weight, and her body is literally in the couch that he is sitting on, if you can believe it. Yep. Yep, and that's you can go back and read like Bree's comment on the read along if you want the whole thing, but that's what she's talking about as well, is the intense fat phobia with that character for one. I do agree with you. I mean, at least it wasn't referred to in every single line. Stephen King. The fact that it was like, yeah, that was like literally like the murder weapon was his size, was yeah. 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 I have no words. Yeah, I didn't pick that up at all because why would anybody, honestly? Like what the actual fuck? It makes me even angrier when you just I don't like describing it. I don't like saying it out loud. Yeah, that's valid. Really valid. I'm making the fat guy the bad guy. Never been done before ever. Never, never, ever, ever. Yeah, it's yep. That one, like that, I mean, by that time that it's revealed, it's like the end of the book. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna finish it anyway. I might have DNF'd it if that happened any earlier. Like if that was like an early plot point. Um, and they had revealed it early on, I would have been like, I will just turn on the live stream and you guys talk about it because yeah, I could have seen that too through most of the book. Like he's like he's offering advice. He's reminding Louis of these like stories and legends to kind of like help him. Yep. and then to make him the cause of everything too. So like what he does is at least what Louis determines is the whole reason anything bad is happening on the reservation is because of what Ern did. And it's like, for real? But yeah, if he had just kind of stayed the Boo Radley type, that would have been fine. That would have been fine. Sorry. It's not even 10 o'clock yet. Why am I yawning? I didn't even have work today. Would have been more effective if it was the grandpa that did the bad thing. Hmm. I don't know. I guess it depends because I can't see him doing exactly the same thing that Ern does, but it would have had to have been something recent though. So I don't know. I guess if everything else in the story stayed the same, it wouldn't make sense. But I don't know. Why the grandpa? That's okay. Thank you, Des. That's what I was like. Yeah, JL was trying to. Yeah, I was eating the bodies. That That seemed horrible enough to me. But I guess that was, I guess technically speaking, after Ern's mom goes missing. So that's a sentence. That's a sentence. Yeah. So I guess timeline wise, it happens afterward. So just a thought experiment. Oh, okay. I just thought it was interesting that you pulled grandpa out like that. And I was like, why grandpa? Definitely would have fed more into the generational trauma. Although I kind of think grandpa was doing that on his own. A little bit as well. Kind of leaving Louis to deal with everything. That pissed me off. I don't know about you guys, but especially when Louis was going to him for like advice about his mother. And Louis and grandpa was just like, she needs you, she needs you, she needs you. No, it wouldn't be better for you guys to come stay with me. And it's like, maybe it fucking would. Like, and it just seemed like very much like, don't bring your messiness over here. It's like, I don't know, maybe he's a fucking teenager and maybe he needs help. I don't I don't know. As we talk about the plot, I'm realizing this book has some wild stuff. Yeah, when we talk about these major plot points and try to describe them, it's like, huh. Yeah, grandpa not taking any responsibility and all the fact that he abandoned his wife and daughter. Yep. Yep. maybe the point of the story is that it wasn't Ern. It was the generational trauma. Maybe it was just adding up with all of these families on this reservation. Maybe it was all just like adding up. You know what I mean? So maybe that was just Louis' interpretation of what the source of it was Ern, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it really was generational trauma. Just all of it compounding on top of each other. She's already been left before, you can't leave her. Like, yeah. Yep. I don't know how much we need to talk about Mom, but that really hit me. What an yeah. Can relate. not with my mom specifically, but another member of my family. But yeah. We are oddly similar, Brie. Wow, it's tragic and the kids have to deal with it. Yeah, that's really what hit too, is like that I could relate to, is like having to deal with that. And truly like that it ages you. Maybe it's an offline conversation. Oh yeah, I was just saying. Yeah, I was just saying that we were similar in that way. I wasn't gonna get into it. But yeah, it's just the like that sort of thing like ages you. That's what made me feel so much for Louis. Another thing that always comes up in book club is depression. This is such a happy book club. It's a good thing we have fun. Because damn, we talk about some heavy shit. Yeah, as we're just reliving the major plot points. This book might be a little bit crazier than I thought. Like, holy shit. Like, actually, holy shit. Sorry. Ugh. When we say creepy, we don't mean horror, we mean trauma and mental illness. Yep. Turns out those are some pretty major themes in horror fiction. We really need to read a horror comedy one of these days. Okay, did we miss anything? Did we miss any major plot points? I'm trying to think. I don't think we really missed anything in the plot. I mean, talked a little bit about the bodies kind of sitting up and it manifesting in that way. That was, if we choose a horror comedy, we'd somehow get in trauma or mental illness with our luck. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, the corpses sitting up and talking in their coffins. There weren't any insects in this? I'm trying to run through the book really quick. There definitely wasn't any theme of insects. So. That's where you're saying that I'm typing them often. It's wild. Us lesbians, we're just all on the same wavelength. It's the sapphic mind web, you know? We're like a hive mind. But surprisingly, no insects in this one. No insects. Yeah, no insects, but zombie woodpecker snakes and armadillos. The sapphic mind web that I would wear on a t-shirt. That's the merch. Now that they weren't, no, don't even, Tana. They weren't there. I kind of missed them. Oh no, I don't know if any of the books for the next group, I don't think it's apparent if there's any insects. It's not apparent from their like covers or titles or anything, I don't think. So we might be okay. You called my bluff. Oh, thanks, Audrey. Thanks for popping in. I'm excited about June also. That is a great segue. What awesome timing. Thank you, Audrey. Really quick before we talk about next month and the rest of the books, what did everybody rate Indian Burial Ground? I think Bree gave it 4 stars, if I remember right. I have 4.25. Three from Tana. Okay. And Des a 4. Okay, so we were all very close then. Okay. Nice. Nice. Okay, so with that, focus. Hello. There we go. All right. Okay. Would have been 4.5 if it wasn't for the earn thing. That's valid. That is valid. Okay, so as Audrey led us in, June pick. Obviously, we knew about this one already. My Darling Dreadful Thing by Joanna Van Veen. This one selling very well off of my horror pride table at work that I set up like a week early because I just couldn't wait. So I'm super excited about this. I feel like everyone might be talking about this one, which it'll be really, really cool. Okay, and then my kind of like photo graphic editing thing was not being nice to me today, so I was struggling editing like a little graphic. I'll have one ready for tomorrow, but I just put the titles and banners, so I'm just gonna put up a banner for for the books for the rest of the year. All right. Reading it, I'm not DNFing this book. Oh my goodness. I hope not. It's a sapphic one. You better not. Okay, so as per usual, and to anybody lurking or watching this back, the book club picks are picked by the book club. I only mention it here because I want to make sure what we're reading is what we all want to read. So these are pretty much all suggestions from you guys, and then I usually throw in one or two. So it's all our suggestions. Okay, so we're going to start with, there wasn't too huge of like themes to where like any books I felt like went with any particular month, with the exception of maybe one or two. So I kind of just threw them on random months. So July, we're gonna do the thing we did a while back where we do like 2 novellas since they're a little shorter. Somebody had suggested Your Shadow Half Remains by Sunny Moraine. We only say Vicky picks the books and then we read a book and don't like. Yeah. And since that's a novella, I thought we could pair it with The Woods All Black by Lee Mandello. I've never read one of their books and I really want to. Already read Your Shadow, but I want to listen to the audiobook too. Nice. So that'll be July. So it's 2 novellas. You put them together. That's one that's like an average book. So I figure we've done that before. So, and these ones maybe might have more in common than the last time we did that. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to totally butcher this next author's name. I'm sorry. I'm going to pull it up to try and say it correctly. But for August, we're going to be reading The Center. Give me one second. By Aisha. Hold on, she's got a second name in there. Aisha Manazir Siddiqui. Probably butchered the fuck out of that. That's one I've been wanting to read for a while because the cover is fucking gorgeous, honestly. I'm excited about that. Honestly, seems like it's going to have a lot in common with Babel, actually. Like, I'm very excited to read this coming out of Babel. I'm going to butcher this next title also. The cover does look fantastic. I'll make a fun graphic for it, I promise. My thing was not working. For September, which the last half of September is Hispanic Heritage Month, so I made sure this selection kind of maybe coincided with that a little bit. Monstrilio? If it's one L, I don't know how to say that. Another one, honestly, the cover draws me in so much. This is by Gerardo Samano Cordova. And their Instagram, they just look like an adorable person. I just have to say that. Monstrilio. Okay. Yes. Oh my God. I'm happy. I'm going to remember all this excitement for all these titles because if any of these end up being traumatizing, I needed someone to push me to read Monstrilio. Nice. Excited about this one as well. I love a book where the cover does not look like it's a horror book at all. And for this one, I feel like it does not. It's giving lit fic, but it's in the horror section. I face it out all the time. Okay, so for October, I struggled with which one to put for October, because for October I always feel like I want something like just to really lean into the Halloween season. I went ahead and went with Black Sheep, Rachel Harrison. This might be maybe a little more of a horror comedy. I feel like hers tend to be a little bit on the fun side. So the cover looks like a textbook. I did have a book in mind. I was gonna it was gonna be a Vicky pick, a Vicky insert pick, but it ended up being published by Wednesday Books, which is part of the St. Martin's Press boycott. And I got so pissed. I was going through and I was checking. I I definitely went through and I did it. I've done it this whole last year, making sure the books we're reading are not part of those publishers, to make sure we're in keeping with that. And so I had them all lined up. I had them all ready, and it was like, oh, I love this lineup. And I got so fucking pissed that and it was going to be a short story collection. We've never done that before, but maybe some other time. It would have been perfect for Halloween, but I won't talk about it any further. Okay, so that'll be for October. Black Sheep, Rachel Harrison. November is going to be The Book of Witching, and that is by CJ Cook. I really should have put in The Book of Witching, CJ Cook. Been wanting to read her books. I'm excited about this one. Like banger after banger. I will remember you said that. Okay, so that'll be in November. The Book of Witching. Excited for like a North Ireland witchy book. And then in December, I felt like it was only appropriate to do this in December because this author we have like only read in December, and I don't know why. I know we talked about Sundial, but I've made a selfish choice because I haven't read Little Eve yet, and I really want to read Little Eve. Why are you saying, oh no? I made a selfish choice. I'm sorry. I've read Sundial. And I know I said I would read it again, but I really want to read Little Eve. So Katrina Ward. I realized we only like read her in December. I also haven't read Little Eve. Yes. I'm helping us all complete all of Katrina Ward's books. And we're kind of just working backwards. We're really kind of, we started with Needless Street, and then we went forwards with Looking Glass Sound, and now we're going backwards again. No Reason Big I totally loved, but you liked Last House on Needless Street, so I don't know why it's 50-50 right now, Marielle. It is 50-50. So Little Eve will tip the scales in one direction. Was that in December? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was December, I think. Was it? Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, no, we didn't read it. Yeah, it must have been December. Not Vicky Make. Yeah, pretty much. I think I'll pass. What if this one's amazing, Marielle? What if this one's amazing and you miss out? Okay, well, I have like a whole 6 months to convince you to read Little Eve with us by December, so I think I'll be successful. I'll apologize. That wasn't a very good Christmas present. Gothic horror in Scotland. That's all. Thank you. Listen, I'm excited. I think you guys are letting Looking Glass Sound color your perception a little bit too much, and you're forgetting how amazing everybody thought Last House on Needless Street was. Should I replay that live stream? This is Little Eve is not a new book. It's her backlist. So, and Looking Glass Sound was her newest one. So you figure, I don't know. I feel like there's a higher likelihood of you guys liking this one. So, also, it's really sad. I enjoyed Looking Glass Sound. I don't care if they didn't like it, but I don't like that they're shutting down Little Eve so quickly. Look, we know Vicky's gonna push the Katrina Ward bandwagon on brand. It's thank you, Des. It's all about branding. I have to stay consistent. I have to stay consistent. Not choosing books for herself right after talking about how our listen. Shall I go back over the books? Your guys' choice. Your guys' choice. Your guys' choice. Your guys' choice. And technically, Katrina Ward was your guys' choice. I just chose a different book. I rest my case. Thank you. We got, yes, and we have to get her on the stream. Thank you. We have to get her on the stream. If that really was her commenting, which God, I hope it was. This is the video pic scandal all over again. I'm gonna scroll back to the part in the chat where you guys were super excited about all the pics. Remember this? Remember this, Marielle? Remember this, Marielle? Acting like you weren't excited about all the other choices. You knew what was gonna happen. It's been on the document forever. Somebody just suggested Sundial. I just picked a different one. You knew I was gonna pick it. You knew I was gonna pick it. Always targeting Marielle. You're the one starting it. You're the one starting it. I'm just finishing it. There's so much love at Creepy Book Club, let me tell you. That's one thing, and I've always fostered such a nice environment during Creepy Book Club. This is probably why other people don't watch this. They I get the lurkers, they pop in and they're like, oh fuck, they're fighting or something. Let me get out. You think the drama would pull people in? We got to be more serious about our fake fighting. We got to be more serious. Would we get into a fist fight if we met in? I know I would not. Not unless one of you guys started it. That is not. No, I'm not a fight starter. Definitely not a physical fight starter. No. I don't know, Marielle. Would you punch me right in the face if we ever met in real life? Thank you, Bree. Bree's playing favorite right now. I would not. I would absolutely never do that. I would be like, if you want the real answer, I would be so awkward for like the first 15 minutes. And then you probably wouldn't get me to shut up. That's how it would actually go. And then you would regret meeting me in real life. That's exactly how it would go. And that goes for anybody. I'd be super awkward. Then you'd be like, oh my God. Good night, Marielle. Enjoy your dinner. Well, normally we talk about what we've read or whatever, but we kind of went over. So unless anyone wants to share really quick what they read this month, anything else you read that you liked or you didn't like, if you want to de-influence us to read something. We're both cancers, Vicky. We just cry for an hour straight. Yeah, probably. Probably. Yeah. But if anyone wanted to talk really quick about something they read, if not, we can end it. Normally we do, but The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. Incredible read. That was on my most anticipated list, I think. If I remember correctly, because that you read The Good House. Liked it, but liked The Reformatory better. I feel like I can't even like rate the two together other than the fact that they're by the same author. Because I feel like I liked The Good House. It just was like far less traumatizing than The Reformatory. Wayward and the Outside Trilogy. Oh, the Outside Trilogy. I read Man Fuck This House purely for the title. It's pretty solid. Nice. I read a good, hold on, let me see if I can just give you guys the quick stack really fast. This is what I read this month. I'll just go super fast. I read The Watchers, of course, before the movie. I'll save my thoughts on that until the movie. I read Kim Ji-young, born 1982. This was quite good. Apparently influenced the 4B movement, so that's kind of cool. I read, for fuck's sake, Oscar Wars, The History of Hollywood in Gold, Sweat, and Tears. This is actually pretty fascinating, I gotta be honest. I didn't realize how messy so many Oscar award ceremonies were. Graphic novel, Third Shift Society. It's like a pumpkin-headed dude, and I thought that was cool. Yellowface, R.F. Kuang, incredible. I've never read such an insufferable character before. And then, of course, my absolute baby, best thing I read this month. My favorite thing is Monsters Volume 2, finally. If nobody's read this graphic novel, get the first one and do yourself a favor. It's fucking incredible and will probably make you cry a little bit. It made me cry. Hi, Ryan. I've not seen Coherence. I've not seen Coherence at all. Okay. Ow. I hit my headphones. Okay. Well, we should probably end this this stream here. We kind of went a little above, not above. We went longer than we normally do. That was just because we were waiting for all the stragglers to get here. So best opening 45 minutes. Okay. I think that's not so much an opening as it is like half of a movie, but okay. Thanks for another lovely creepy book club discussion. If you check the book club page, there's already the date for the next stream for My Darling Dreadful Thing. And yeah, I'll add in the other books that we just talked about tonight. I'll add them in tomorrow. So the party does not start until you and Marielle get here. That is facts. All right, have a good night, you guys, or slash day, Des, over in Australia. Bye.